in the halves. So Matty Wilde and Jordan Lilly back in the halves. This will be the third time this season that they have had to partner each other in the halves. The forwards, Liam Kirk, Sam Haller, Steve Crossley, Matt Staunton, Connor Farrell and Mikey Wood. And on the interchange bench, George Flanagan returns. First outing in 6 games since he suffered a broken arm in that 27-26 win for the Bradford Bulls over Featherstone at Odsall. That game went to Golden Point extra time, and on the interchange bench, Colton Roach, James Green and Alex Stevenson, who is a late replacement for Ross Peltier, who was at the ground, but he has had to go to hospital suffering with an illness. So no Jake Webster, no Rowan Milnes, no Dalton Grant, and no Ross Peltier this afternoon. Webster with a knee injury, Milnes with a shoulder injury, Grant with the dead leg, and Ross Peltier with an illness, which we will try and find out, hopefully not too serious, before the end of proceedings. We've had 30 seconds gone here. Bradford with first use of the ball. They will go up the famous Post Office Road slope here, and they're going to kick early in the tackle count. Matty Wilde out of dummy half. He will turn Featherstone around, and that is a great place kick there from Matty Wilde, and Featherstone will have the scrum 12 metres out from their own try line. Josh Chapman joins us this afternoon. It goes without saying, it's a very special occasion because Featherstone and Bradford this afternoon, they will contest the Peter Fox Memorial Trophy. Peter Fox, of course, enjoyed outstanding success as a coach with both Featherstone and Bradford, and this really is a fitting tribute to someone who is really enriched in rugby league history.
Yeah, indeed, Mick, and it's a great touch by the two clubs to honour such a legendary figure of the game in such a way, and hopefully the trophy will be coming to Odsall come full time.
So Featherstone Rovers, their first use of the ball. We've had 90 seconds gone. They're moving the ball down this far stand side. There's also games this afternoon. Barrow Rochdale, the bottom two in the championship. They meet up in Cumbria. The Bulls will be up there a week on Wednesday. Featherstone are clear. They're up and over halfway with James Lockwood. Lockwood's brought down 10 metres inside the Bradford half. They're going to move it on this right hand edge, and it's being picked up by Ethan Ryan. Ethan Ryan's away, but the referee is going to disallow the score. He'll put whistle to lips. He'll say it's been palmed forward by Ethan Ryan, and now Connor Farrell. He's had some choice words with Cumbrian referee Gareth Ewer, and Featherstone are going to be awarded a penalty 40 metres out for dissent. We've just heard Sam Hallers in the pre-match interview talking about how the Bulls are going to learn from giving away the dissent, and no sooner has a decision gone against them, they've talked back to the referee, and now they're going to put themselves under a little bit of pressure here. Featherstone, they're going to move the ball down the middle. They are literally 15 metres out from that Bradford try line. 2.5 minutes gone here. No score on the Pulse 2 scoreboard. Cameron King out of dummy half finds Chisholm. Chisholm to Lockwood. Lockwood out wide to Holmes. Holmes' pass goes behind Render, and it's going to have to be picked up on that far stand side by Luke Briscoe. Briscoe loses his footing. He's 20 metres out. Third tackle gone here. The Bulls, good line defence. They're running up in the ones and the twos as Crossley and Kirk will bring down James Lockwood. Still 20 metres out from that Bradford line here, looking for first points. In at dummy half it goes from King. King to Wielden. Wielden's brought down in a two-man tackle, and that is tackle number 4 gone. In front of the post, 10 metres out. King, short pass there on the left to Chisholm. Chisholm, Grubber kicks through, and Featherstone Rovers have a try, but that one's going to be disallowed. So here we go. Both sides have had a try disallowed inside the opening 3 minutes. That one is for offside inside the 10. The referee will say Brad Day was in front of Chisholm when that kick went behind the Bradford defensive line, and it's a penalty apiece. A huge let off there for the Bulls.
It is, and I'm not sure what the worst part was. Connor Farrell conceding a cheap 10 metres by running his mouth, which gives Featherstone that possession and that yard advantage, especially we're so close to the line. But they got away with one there. The Featherstone man, he will level with Chisholm. He just beat the offside trap. For some reason, decided to push Lilly in the back when it was when it's time to score. All he had to do was put his hand on the ball.
Bradford from their own 30-metre line. Matty Staunton, he's been in great form in 2019. Made his debut in a heavy loss away to Toulouse along with Brandon Pickersgill, and they use that match as their grounding. It goes now from Hallers to Kirk. Kirk's going to be brought down 2 metres shy of the halfway line. Centre field position. They're going to come on this maidstand side to Wilde, to Staunton. Great support play. Pickersgill's away. Pickersgill 20 metres out now from that Featherstone line. It was a try-saving tackle from Can King. They're on the last tackle, centre field. It's Wildy looking for Johnston, but Luke Briscoe will jump the higher of the two, and Featherstone will keep the scoreboard at 0-0. 5 minutes gone. We've just seen some great play between Staunton and Pickersgill, and now the Bulls a little bit eager inside the 10. Featherstone, they'll have their second penalty of the afternoon, but that was exhilarating from Brandon Pickersgill. He didn't need any invitation to go through that gap, Josh.
No, he didn't, especially, and Featherstone have got to be wary when you've got a threat of someone like Brandon Pickersgill who's got the speed and the footwork and the handling to get through a line and cause chaos. Featherstone's defence was scrambling there, and really, Bulls could have had the try, but for the poor pass to Matty Wildy on the last, which delayed the kick and allowed Featherstone to get reset for the kick to fly over into that corner to Briscoe.
The former Parramatta Eels man and St George Illawarra Can King with that try-saving tackle. Featherstone now, they're 25 metres out from that Bradford line, and here goes King, goes to Scott Wheeldon. Wheeldon's going to be brought down. Made his Super League debut in 2006 with Hull FC. He plays the ball in front of the post. It goes to Chisholm. Chisholm once again to Lockwood on that left-hand edge, and that is tackle number 4 for Featherstone. 10 metres out from that Bradford line. Featherstone coming down the slope here in the first half. Chisholm back to Lockwood, to Holmes. Holmes to Davis. John Davis, the former Castleford York and Batley man, is wrapped up now on the last tackle. Still 10 metres out. Cam King is taking on Steve Crossley and Brandon Pickersgill. And Pickersgill and Crossley wrap him up on top of the Bulls line. Suffocating defence. Great play there. Great read from Steve Crossley. And it remains 0-0 here on the Pulse 2 scoreboard. If you're just joining us, Mick Ledell, Josh Chapman, your call team here from Post Office Road this afternoon. There's no Jake Webster, Rowan Milnes, Dalton Grant or Ross Peltier. All four late withdrawals for this one, and Bradford now have a bit of work to do, moving the ball 5 metres out from their own try line. Hallis out a dummy half. He's heading into touch. Tom Holmes has got hold of Hallis, and Hallis, there was no stop in that Featherstone Rovers momentum, and Conor Carey and Tom Holmes have dragged Sam Hallis into this main stand touchline, similar to the Gordon Tallis tackle on Brett Hodgson all them years ago in Origin. The Bulls have put themselves under pressure here. We've had 7 minutes gone on Pulse 2, and it is 0-0.
Yeah, you know, as we say, it's an enthralling, breathtaking start to the game. End-to-end rugby, fast-flowing rugby. I think Sam Hallis had a little bit of an argument to maybe get a penalty there. He did look like the initial contact was around the throat, and he did have a man round his head as he was dragged into touch, but Mr. Hewitt, obviously the touch just saw it differently.
Chisholm from in front to the post from the scrum. That one's popped out of the arms. Danny Maskell there, he's allowed to play on. Comes back down this right-hand edge, goes to Scott Wheeldon against Kirk and also Crossley. Crossley over the top. 2 Bradford defenders. Those red, amber and black shirts homing in on their navy blue counterparts. It goes from Holmes to Davis. Davis to open the scoring for Featherstone. Davis is brought down on top of the Bradford line, and they're going to pitch one out of dummy half. It's Cameron King, and I think Cameron King has opened the scoring here. There's a bit of a kerfuffle underneath the post. Steve Crossley goes straight to referee Gareth Ewer, and Steve Crossley wants to be careful here, Josh, but he's not happy about that one. Cameron King opens the scoring for Featherstone, his 7th try of the season, and the former World Club Challenge winner has got Featherstone up and running. They lead the Bulls here at Post Office Road by 4 points to 0.
Whatever's happening, the try scoring action there has really upset Steve. You know, he's still having a go at Gareth. He's walking away now, but you know, until Cam managed to find the gap to squeeze over there in Bradford's goal line defence, you've got to give it credit. It's been put under pressure 3 or 4 times. Phenomenal effort, but sooner or later, unfortunately, you are going to get breached because defence takes more out of your energy levels than the attack does.
8 minutes gone here. Cameron King, 7th try of the season. The Pulse 2 kick predictor says 99% as Dane Chisholm will attempt this conversion from right in front of the open terrace in here. As we said, there was a bit of a downpour as we caught the train from Bradford Interchange this morning, but certainly the sun now blazing down here on Post Office Road, and there's a sizable crowd here for this big playoff 4-pointer. Chisholm from in front, 1 from 1. Mick Ledell, Josh Chapman, Pulse 2, Featherstone 6, Bradford 0. John Keir said it's a 4-pointer and it'll have a huge bearing on who gets in the top 5 at the end of the season. And the Bulls, Josh, looking to get back to winning ways after those back-to-back defeats against Toronto and Halifax. But I think despite conceding that first try to Cameron King and Featherstone, they've shown more than enough in this first 10 minutes that this is going to be a competitive outing.
They're having need, and all the disruption, as we've talked about in the build-up before the game, players pulling out Friday, players pulling out this morning, it does have an effect on your team. But obviously, in these early stages, it hasn't really affected Bradford that much. They've had a good, solid showing so far, and it is going to be a close, competitive afternoon of rugby here at Post Office Road.
Featherstone Rovers then on the restart. Holmes in possession, and that one skipped forward and out to the arms of James Lockwood, and that is Featherstone's first error in open play. And now Bradford have the ball 30 metres out from that Featherstone line. It's going to go from Hallas to Farrell. Farrell's brought down 20 metres out. Farrell's got 2 tries this season, this term. The former Wigan man plays the ball in front of the post. Lilly back down the middle. It's going to go with Steve Crossley. Crossley making huge metres here. 10 minutes gone on pulse 2. Bradford trailing to that early try to Cam King, looking to hit back to Lilly. Minchella's brought down 5 metres out. Farrell in at dummy half. Goes now towards Lilly. Lilly to Wildy. Wildy has spotted Summit. Finds Pickersgill. Out wide to Ross Oakes. Ross Oakes gives it to Ryan. Ryan's knocked the ball on with the line open. And that scrambling defence there from Featherstone Rovers. That will keep the Bulls out. It's a half chance there for John Keir's side and the Bulls. They've come up with the error on the 4th tackle, Josh. But once again, the quick and speed thinking of Jordan Lilly, Matty Wildy, they've just shifted the play laterally straight across from right to left, and the Bulls very nearly hit back. We've had 11 minutes gone. Pulse 2 scoreboard, Featherstone 6, Bradford 0.
Yeah, a very clever halfback play from Jordan and Matt there to spot the numbers game when they overlap and switch direction of the ball to get it over there. But you can't take anything away from Featherstone either. That was some superb scrambling defence to first present Ross Oakes and score, and the second to force the very unusual error from Ethan on the wing.
Well, there's some lady scores from the championship as Featherstone move the ball from deep inside their own half. You're not missing anything. It's Barrow 0, Rochdale 6. It's Batley 6, Halifax 0. So that is a big result that could go in favour of both Featherstone and Bradford come the hooter. And it's Swinton and Dewsbury and Widnes and York 0-0 there at Haywood Road and also at Norton Park. Apologies for using the old terms on the grounds. They change the name that often. I can't quite keep up. Last tackle for Featherstone, just inside the Bradford half. Chisholm goes to the sky, and that one is dealt with by Brandon Pickersgill, who's now in that full-back role over on that far stand side. So Ethan Ryan has moved over on this left wing position. Bradford, second tackle gone. The 20 metres out with defogging Johnston. Lilly probing out a dummy half, taking that line on. Fearless running there from Jordan Lilly. He's brought down there in a 2-man tackle by James Harrison and also Tom Holmes. Third tackle gone. Ryan now out a dummy half will alleviate the burden on the forwards. Real intensity to this one, and that's the 4th tackle gone for John Keir and the Bulls. 40 metres out from their own line, 10 shy of halfway. It goes from Hallas to Wildy to Crossley. They're on the last tackle on the halfway line. They advance just inside the Featherstone half, and that is a pinpoint accuracy kick there from Matty Wildy. He will turn around Conor Carey and Luke Briscoe, and that will be scrum head and feed here to Featherstone, 10 metres out from their own line, and that will just sap a bit of energy and take a little bit of intensity, Josh, out of this game. We've had 13 minutes gone. It remains a Cameron King try, hotly disputed, it must be said, gauging on the body language by Steve Crossley, to the Featherstone Rovers, who lead 6-0.
It has, and I think the kick, both teams will really be grateful for that kick to the corner then to force a scrum by Matt. It's been a very high-octane opening 14 minutes of rugby league, and both teams are doing a lot of defending, a lot of attacking, there's a lot of turnover of possession, completion rates are high, and on a day like today where the weather is a bit warmer than usual, despite the rain and the wind, it is going to take it out for both teams as the game goes on.
Featherstone Rovers on the halfway line, just to the left of centre field. Cameron King in there at dummy half, looks for options, finds Lockwood. Lockwood now to Harrison. Harrison's brought down by Wood and Kirk and Hallis in a three-man tackle. 5 metres inside the Bradford half, centre field position. Sun blazing down here at Post Office Road as it goes from King to Wealdon, and the former Hulkington Rovers man is brought down on the last tackle. Gareth Ewer, this afternoon's referee from Whitehaven in Cumbria, says that's the last. It goes back to the halfway line. Chisholm looking to put Pickersgill under pressure. Great tech by Brandon Pickersgill. Defogging Johnston was on the outside to protect him from Josh Walters, the former Leeds man who was probing, and Bradford now, they will come once again up the famous Post Office Road slope from deep. Lilly now to Midgella. Midgella brought down, and he was 3 from 4 against Halifax last week at the Summer Bash, the former West Bowling amateur. Made his Leeds debut against Salford back in 2013, so the 23-year-old has got a bit of experience in the bag. Staunton on the 4th tackle, 30 out from his own line. Wildy's seen enough and is going to kick towards Render. Render, he's homegrown here at Featherstone. He's come through the club's reserve programme, and he will meet Liam Kirk and Steve Crossley on the Featherstone 40-metre line. The latest score is still Batley 6, Halifax 0. It's Barrow 6, Rochdale 6. There was an early result in the Magic weekend from Anfield where Salford, they have lost to Hulkington Rovers by 22 points to 20. And if you believe the rumours, Tim Sheens is going back to Australia and James Ford will be leaving the York City Knights at the end of the season, and he will be replacing Tim Sheens. Here come Featherstone, 15 metres inside that Bradford half. It goes to Tom Holmes. Holmes finds a support, standing still is Lockwood. Lockwood now to Harrison. Harrison brought down by Pickersgill. Pickersgill went for Harrison's legs. 15 metres out. Chisholm, crossfield kick. And there's going to be a try in the corner. Briscoe, pass on the inside. And that's Dane Chisholm. Chisholm was in the support. And Chisholm, he's dancing in front of the terraces. He's kissing the badge. Featherstone lead 10 points to 0.
Again, great effort defensively from the Bulls, but Chisholm has that little bit, as Bulls fans will know, has that little bit of skill. He can pick a lock, he can find the gap, and a great bit of support play from Luke Briscoe to not only take the kick under pressure, but get the ball away to Chisholm in touch. I know Dane had struggled with it to touch down, but I tell you what, that'll feel sweet for Dane Chisholm against his former club.
Well, Dane Chisholm, as we said, he has been here at Featherstone for 6 games, and that is his 5th try since leaving the Bulls, and that could be a crucial try come the 80th minute, because it has given Featherstone an extra 4 points on the scoreboard, and it is now Featherstone 10, Bradford 0, and Dane Chisholm will attempt the conversion over on the far stand side. He made 44 appearances for the Bradford Bulls, and as we said, no introduction to what Dane Chisholm can do. He was a try scorer last week in that 42-10 win over York at the Summer Bash. And Dane Chisholm, the Pulse 2 kick predictor, says a 63% chance of Chisholm sending this one between the posts. So early tries, if you just join us on Pulse 2 for Featherstone, from Cameron King and Dane Chisholm. He was the orchestrator there, that grubber kick through, and he took the pass back on the inside from Luke Briscoe, and he scored in at the corner. Chisholm's conversion attempt drifts underneath the crossbar. Couple of moans from the Featherstone faithful, but here at Post Office Road, on Pulse 2, Mick Gledall, John Chapman, Featherstone Rovers 10, Bradford Bulls 0 on the Pulse 2 scoreboard.
Yeah, and I think really for Bradford, they've done nothing wrong. It's just Featherstone have had the hotly disputed Cam King try. I'm presuming for Steve to dispute it for like as much as he did. The ball was failed to be grounded, probably given the situation of the bodies. But that last try again, there's nothing the Bulls could have done there. Defensively, they were solid. They had it under control, and Luke Briscoe and Chisholm both produced little bits of magic, which got Dane over the line. And really, Bradford 10-0 down, and I think the scoreboard's flattering Featherstone. Otherwise, it's been quite an even game.
Featherstone on the halfway line on the restart. 4th tackle gone. Cameron King in at dummy half. Finds Holmes on that short outside pass, and Holmes is wrapped up 38 metres out on the last tackle, just to the right hand side of the post. King in at dummy half to Chisholm, 40 metres out. That one has caught the wind. That one's going out on the full into the stands, and we've just seen there, Josh, the very best of Dane Chisholm, and the very worst, he holds his right arm up, and that's gone out on the full, and that's a let-off and respite for the Bulls. 10-0 the trail.
It is indeed. Dane caught the win there, and tell you what, that guy in the second row caught the ball to loud cheers. Someone get him signed up, because I'm sure there's a League One or Championship somewhere looking for a winger.
So Matty Wildy will play the ball. Staunton tackle number 1. As we said, Bradford, they've not won here since 2015. They've won on their last 2 visits. Bit of a graveyard is Post Office Road these days for the Bradford Bulls faithful. Lilly to Farrell. Farrell, third tackle gone. Brought down in a 2-man tackle there by Lockwood and Wealdon. 40 metres out. Hallis out of dummy half. Short pass to Crossley. Crossley past the Featherstone 30-metre line. 4th tackle gone. 28 metres out. Back in centre field from Hallis to Lilly. Lilly head down. Along the line to Wildy. Wildy to Staunton. Staunton gets the ball out of the tackle to Pickersgill. Pickersgill 10 metres out. Wrapped up on the last tackle. Josh Hardcastle had to make that tackle. Pickersgill plays the ball. It goes to Wildy. It goes to Lilly. Lilly crossfield kick. Briscoe takes that one from infield of play, and Briscoe's lost the ball, and the referee will say knock on, and that is a well-earned, well-deserved repeat set of 6 there from the Bradford Bulls. That crossfield kick from Lilly, you knew it was going to cause a lot of problems for Luke Briscoe, and he never really had control of it, Josh. The Bulls will have the scrum 10 metres out from the Featherstone line, arguably their best spell of pressure in this game. 20 minutes gone, the trail 10-0.
Yeah, and I think big credit there has really got to go to D. Foggin Johnson on the wing. Briscoe were just getting a bit of pace behind him. He set those first 10 metres off quite well. Foggin Johnston got the ankle tap. Briscoe lost his footing, lost the ball, and now his team's under immense pressure as the Bulls. Ooh.
Matty Wildy from the scrum over on this main stand side. Wildy's brought down on top of the Featherstone line. Wins the penalty. James Lockwood laying on there. So that is 2 penalties apiece here this afternoon at Post Office Road, and Bradford, they're going to keep the pressure on the trail by 10 points to 0. James Green is just on the first interchange of the afternoon for head coach John Keir. The former Castleford and Hull Kingston Rovers man is brought down just to the left hand side of the post. Lilly had to take one for the team there, and he's absolutely smothered by Scott Wealdon. They've lost a little bit of ground. It was a bit of a hospital pass from Hallis out of dummy half, but here goes Steve Crossley. Crossley's brought down now, 5 metres out in front of the post. Hallis fires it to Lilly. Lilly now to Farrell. Farrell's brought down, 4th tackle gone. A tackle remaining here for John Keir's side. Lilly to Wildy. Wildy to Pickersgill to Staunton. Staunton, has he been lifted above the horizontal? Ethan Ryan says he has. Last tackle. Ryan goes himself out of dummy half. He puts a grubber kick in, and Featherstone will dive on the ball, and it is Josh Hardcastle who will keep possession for Featherstone. A very flat end to that set of 6 there from the Bradford Bulls, Josh. They trail on the Pulse 2 scoreboard. Featherstone 10, Bradford 0, with 18 minutes to go to half-time.
Yeah, and you know, Bulls really got to be finishing the sets close to the line better. They've had 3 real opportunities there, and first one obviously Luke Bridge 12, but the other 2 being bombed by Ethan. But also to defend Ethan there, he did have a shout. Might start, his legs did appear to go above the horizontal, above their head, and I think Mr. Hughes missed a big one there.
Featherstone Rovers on the last tackle, just outside their own 30-metre line. It goes to Chisholm. Chisholm, here we go. There's a mercurial maverick here from Chisholm. Chisholm taking the Bulls line on. He's still going, Jane Chisholm. He's passed the ball, though, to Ross Oakes. And Ross Oakes, he called for that one. Perhaps Dane Chisholm thought he was still playing for the Bulls here. But here we go. Ethan Ryan now will quickly play the ball. D. Foggin Johnston, 3rd tackle gone. And that was great movement down the middle by Dane Chisholm. He was taking the Bulls line on. It was the last tackle. The Bulls defence, it just held off a split second, and it very nearly proved costly. Here goes Pickersgill. 5 shy of halfway. Hallis to Wildy to Staunton. I think if the Bulls can keep Featherstone to 10 in this first half, they'll have confidence in this second half going down the slope. Hallis to Wildy. They're on the last tackle. Makatoa's just come on. Good kick there from Wildy. Splits the Featherstone Rovers defence. Luke Briscoe, he's going to have to get that ball over on the far stand side, and he's immediately brought down there by D. Fogging Johnston and Connor Farrell, and now Featherstone Rovers are going to attack the Bulls from deep. Still going, pass on the inside, it's been dropped by Josh Walters. It was a line break by Brad Day. If Josh Walters takes that one, he has sucked in Pickersgill and he's underneath the sticks, and it's a third try for Featherstone. I tell you what, Ryan Carr, he must be absolutely filthy with Featherstone. They've just bombed 2 tries in 60 seconds. It remains 10-0 to Featherstone on Bulls 2.
I just took a look down at the Bulls bench, Mick, and I don't think Ryan will be as happy as John right now. But no, Bulls switched off twice in defence there. Featherstone have got through, and both times Dane Chisholm and then Brad Day have panicked really when they didn't need to. Just take the tackle, quick play the ball. Half the team's offside, you threw for the try anyway, and Bulls really have got away with 2 there.
Well, the last 2 contests against the Bulls and Featherstone have been emotional, draining affairs, and they certainly have taken the toll on both sides, both mentally and physically. And despite Featherstone leading by 10 points to 0, the Bulls certainly still in this one, still in the arm wrestle, bringing a lot of energy and certainly into the grind, although from the base of the scrum they've lost the ball. Chisholm's away, Chisholm's brought down there by Johnston, 20 metres out now from that Bradford line on the 0 tackle. That is an absolute criminal error from the Bulls, and they've put themselves under some undue pressure. John Davis is brought down, rolled over on his back, messing around at the play of the ball. Connor Farrell will be penalised, and that will be Featherstone's 4th penalty of the afternoon in front of the post. And Ryan Carr says don't go for 2, keep the pressure on. Featherstone can smell blood in the water. We've had 26 minutes gone here at Post Office Road. Cameron King out of dummy half, looking for options, misses out Makatoa, goes to Holmes. Holmes now to Hardcastle. Hardcastle's brought down 5 metres out. 10 in from this main stand side. Colton Roach about to come on the field. It goes in between Holmes and Makatoa. And Makisi Makatoa, the Cook Island international, keeps the ball going. Here come Featherstone towards the line. They're looking for options. Dale Ferguson has just come on. He's making his Featherstone Rovers debut. He's a former Bradford Bull. And Dale Ferguson saying he's on the line. The referee says no. Cameron King is over the line for Featherstone, but he's held up, and we're going to go back to the 10. So the pressure cooker still continuing to simmer here for Featherstone. 4th tackle gone. Holmes out of dummy half, down the middle with Harrison. Green goes high on the shoulder. Last tackle for Featherstone. They trail by 10 points to 0. Makatoa looks for options, finds Holmes. Holmes to Render. Render on the angle. Render's going to be brought down, and that is great defence, phenomenal defence from John Keir and the Bulls. And the Pulse 2 scoreboard still says Featherstone 10, Bradford 0, and they might not have scored any points, but keeping Featherstone out after that error, Josh, there, that is almost just like scoring. 13 minutes out from half-time.
It is as well, especially when you put yourself under such unnecessary pressure. You know, a simple error from Fogging Johnson out the scrum, and then not wrapping the ball up in the tackle, allowing Makatoa to get the ball away and put more pressure on, but then the defence held strong. And to be fair, Bradford, the goal line defence has been phenomenal in this first half an hour we've played here, and it is really keeping the scoreboard level.
Bradford with Crossley. Crossley back to Hallis. Hallis to Wildy. Wildy to Oakes on this main stand side. Oakes is on the halfway line. Couple of tackles remaining here for the Bulls. Ethan Ryan's pass out of dummy half. Goes behind Mikey Ward. It's a horror show from the Bulls. And that one, their 5th error in this first half, will now see Featherstone have the ball 5 metres inside the Bradford half. And just when you think you're trying to do a set of 6, completing just a set of 6, slowing down the ruck, you come up with an error like that inside your own half.
Exactly, Mick. But, you know, we're only 28 minutes into this game. There's no need to panic. You're not chasing the game just yet, even at 10-0. And the Bulls really are becoming their own worst enemies now with silly balls and just defend. At least the defence wasn't holding strong, but, you know, silly balls, defensive line gaps. Featherstone really are taking advantage of the opportunities Bulls are presenting to them.
Josh Hardcastle from the base of the scrum. He's brought down there by Oakes, Staunton and Ryan. There's 10 homegrown players out there this afternoon for John Keir and the Bradford Bulls. New signing Joe Brown He was very, very close to featuring this afternoon, but John Keir thought that he needed an extra week in the Bradford system, so he's likely to make his debut potentially next week against Halifax in that mouth-watering Coral Challenge Cup quarter-final tie at Odsal Stadium. And now Bradford have conceded the penalty just to the left-hand side of the post, and Ryan Carr says 2 fingers in the air. Featherstone, they're going to go for 2 points, but they've overruled the coach's decision. Ryan Carr said 2 points, and we're just looking at Paul March down there, the former Hunsley and Keighley head coach. And Featherstone, well, let's see if they can get some points on the board, because Ryan Carr realises that points are at a premium and is showing the Bulls a great deal of respect. King then, 10 metres out, finds Chisholm. Chisholm out wide, wayward pass, and that's awful from Chisholm. That one over on the far stand touchline, scrum head and feet to the Bulls. And now Ryan Carr at half-time, well, the side are doing his team talk for him. Pulse 2 scoreboard, Featherstone 10, Bradford 0.
Yeah, and you know, when you overrule the coach, it's definitely a decision what's come from the hooker or the halfback there who took the side decision to take the tap and run the ball. I think that was more of a on the field they're sensing there's blood in the water, as you say, Mick. Bradford has to do a lot of defending, it takes a lot out of the bodies, it tires, lowers the energy levels, but if you are going to overrule your coach, you've got to produce them at the end of it. And unfortunately, that pass from Chisholm to Briscoe was simply awful. It's ended up costing them what could have been 2 points, return of the ball, and another attempt to run at a tiring Bulls defence, but instead, to give Bulls a set of 6, opportunity to get oxygen back in the lungs.
Pickersgill on tackle number 1, Johnston on tackle number 2. Here goes Wildy to Oakes. Oakes is up to the Bradford 40-metre line. Third tackle gone now from the Bulls, 5 shy of halfway. Ethan Ryan in at dummy half to Wildy. Wildy to Roach, Roach to Lilly. Lilly now to Wood. Mikey Wood down the middle. He's brought down on the 4th tackle just inside the Featherstone half. Hallis to Wildy. Wildy out wide to Ryan. Ryan, he's kicked the ball at the Featherstone man. Did the Featherstone man play the ball? The referee will say no. That a 50-50 decision. That looked like Josh Hardcastle had his hands in the air, and that's a bit of a stinker, Josh Chapman.
That is indeed. Personally, Mick, I'm with you. I saw the hands, for me, the moment the hands go above your head, you're playing out a ball. The kick's going over the top like it was there, and your hands are in the air, you're playing out a ball, aren't you? And the touch judge has got that horrifically wrong. Mr. Hewer did look over for assistance, and the touch judge has just got that wrong.
Well, it's a 50-50 call. That's gone against the Bulls. They have to get back up on the horse. They can't feel aggrieved here. We've had 32 minutes gone. 8 minutes to go to half-time here at Post Office Road. Bradford in the arm wrestle, in the contest. Featherstone 10, Bradford 0. And from the scrum, Featherstone 5 shy of halfway. Second tackle gone. Cameron King out of dummy half. Goes down the middle to Render. James Green's down in back play. He looks to be in excruciating pain. On will come the Bradford Bulls doctor and the physio Matt Donald Jung out there. And this, well, if the Bulls are to lose James Green, this could be adding to that mountain injury list. The Bulls already missing for this afternoon's tie. Ashley Gibson, Joe Keys, Jay Hitchcocks, and also Rhys Evans. And adding to that list is Jake Webster, who misses with a knee injury, Rowan Milnes with a shoulder, Dalton Grant suffering with a dead leg, and Ross Peltier, who arrived here at Post Office Road, he's been rushed to hospital with an illness. Hopefully we'll find out it's nothing too serious regarding Ross Peltier, but just to describe the scene here, James Green, both hands on his head, he looks in a lot of pain. If you're just joining us on Pulse 2, it is Featherstone 10, Bradford 0, after an early try from Cameron King out of dummy half underneath the post, and then we saw some mercurial magic from Dane Chisholm, the former Bradford man, the French international, the former Melbourne Storm man, a lot of experience. Dane Chisholm, 28 years of age, he kicked across the field just like he used to do for Ethan Ryan in League One last season, looking for Luke Briscoe. Luke Briscoe palmed the ball back to Chisholm. There was nobody at home in that Bulls defensive line, and Chisholm was over for his 5th try in the navy blue and white of Featherstone Rovers. So here we go. James Green, thankfully, is back on both feet here, Josh, but 10 points to 0. The Bulls trail. We've got 9 minutes remaining, according to the official time keeper, who sat to the left of you, and it's looking like James Green's going to run this one off.
Yeah, and I think he's been overruled by the physio actually. Mickey's been brought off the field here. James took a bit of a knock, Claire, didn't he, at the tackle. He's not looking right. He's having to come off, but it's a big loss for the Bulls, especially with his recent run of form. I personally thought James was the man of the match against Leeds a couple of weeks back. But Bradford, in a weird way, James' injury might work in their favour. Like I said, in the last 10-15 minutes, there's been a lot of defending to do. Defending takes energy, the energy takes oxygen, and you might need them breathers, that bit of water, that bit of extra bit of oxygen in the lungs, those deep breaths, and you never know, this might be the break Bradford need to get themselves back into the game.
Featherstone are going to play the ball 38 metres out from that Bradford try line. George Flanagan comes on then for James Green, who's immediately being seen to by the Bradford Bulls club doctor below our commentary position on this main stand side. Featherstone move the ball over on this right-hand edge with Holmes. Holmes on dual reg from Huddersfield for the remainder of the season. Is brought down on the last tackle, 20 metres out. Davison at dummy half, goes to Chisholm. Chisholm, a delicate little chip over the top. That's dealt with by Jordan Lilly. And Jordan Lilly looks for support, finds it from Pickersgill. Here goes Brandon Pickersgill. Pickersgill's away. Ethan Ryan, he's been pushed over by a Featherstone player. That's a professional foul. Gareth Hughes mistaked. Bradford will have to move the ball out of dummy half with defoggy Johnston. Johnston now at dummy half to Flanagan, to Minchella. Minchella's caught in the tailspin. He's brought down 5 metres shy of halfway. Here goes George Flanagan. His first game in 6 outings, and he's relishing this one. He goes straight in to Luke Cooper and Mackenzie Makatoa. He'll play the ball. Wildy, Lilly, Hallis on that right-hand edge. Hallis is brought down on the last tackle, says Gareth Hewer. 30 metres out. Lilly looks up, gets the nod from Ryan. That one, though, will be dealt with by Jack Render. Looks up, clear blue sky, takes that in the sunshine, and he's wrapped up there by Colton Roach and Mikey Wood. So Colton Roach has just come on, and this is not looking good for James Green. He's got the crutches. He's putting no pressure whatsoever on that left leg, and it's looking like James Green won't return this afternoon. So the Bulls are going to be down to 3 interchanges here at Post Office Road. We've had 33 minutes gone on the official clock. 7 minutes remain. Josh Walters up to halfway for Featherstone. In defence there is Mikey Wood and George Flanagan. It's going to go to Luke Cooper. Cooper's brought down now just inside the Bradford half on the last tackle. Cameron King out of dummy half to Chisholm. Chisholm looks up. Invitation for Pickersgill. Pickersgill does exceptionally well. Brad Day, Josh Walters homing in on that one, and they'll smother the homegrown Bradford hero Brandon Pickersgill. 15 out from his own line. Tackle number 1. Lilly out of dummy half to Fogging Johnston. Johnston on second tackle. 25 out from his own line. Lilly now to Ryan. Ryan down this right-hand edge. And it's Makatoa straight in, herring out of that Featherstone Rovers defensive line along with John Davies. It goes to Wildy, to Minchella, to Farrell. Farrell over on that right-hand edge. Farrell's going to be brought down 5 shy of the halfway line. Minchella grabs the game by the scruff of the neck, advances 10 metres forward, and that's the last tackle for the Bulls. Back on the halfway line to Lilly. Lilly once again, another clever little chip over the top between Render and Carey, and the former East Tigers junior will take his first tackle just outside the Featherstone 20 metre line. We've had 38 minutes gone on the stopwatch. We've got 6 minutes remaining on the official timekeeper's clock. As we said, there was a bit of an injury stoppage to James Green, who has gone down the tunnel. We'll try find out at half-time what has happened to Ross Peltier as well. Keep listening to Pulse 2. We've also got an interview at half-time from Ross Oakes, who's really, as John Keir described, he's had an epiphany. He's been in great form after struggling to force his way into the side last season. It's really tight and tense here at Post Office Road. Dane Chisholm's kick, once again, he's dealt with there by Brandon Pickersgill, and the cheers in the background because Josh Hardcastle and Tom Holmes immediately belt Brandon Pickersgill, and he goes down 10 metres out from his own line. They're going to move it over on the far stand side. The Bulls giving it some air as the ball whips over between Lilly and Minchella. Minchella's brought down 12 shy of halfway. The Bulls trailing 10 points to 0 here, looking for first points, but they are going up the slope in this first half. It goes out of dummy half from Flanagan to Lilly. Lilly to Colton Roach. Colton Roach is brought down 40 metres out on that last tackle. Mikey Wood at dummy half, it goes to Wildy, and that is adjudged to have gone forward. Bradford's 6th error in this first half, and that will give Featherstone a play the ball on their own 40 metre line. The latest scores from the Betfred Championship. Barrow, 13th in the table. They are going to open up a bit of daylight between themselves and bottom place Rochdale Hornets. They lead at Craven Park by 30 points to 10. At Mount Pleasant, it's Batley 6, Halifax 6. It's Swinton 4, Dewsbury 10. And the Widnes Vikings leading at Norton Park against York City by 10 points to 6. Leeds Rhinos beating London 10-0. Featherstone Rovers now 20 metres out from that Bradford line. 4th tackle gone. They've just moved it right down the middle, and they're going to go down the middle again with Chisholm. Chisholm gives it to Ferguson. Ferguson takes a flat pass. He will be brought down 15 metres out. What are Featherstone going to do here? There's options to the left, to the right. They miss out Chisholm. They go to Holmes. Holmes to Hardcastle, and that one's been dropped. And Bradford live to fight another day again. And George Flanagan, Jordan Lilly, they're going round and patting everybody on the back. We're seeing some leadership and commitment out there from the Bradford Bulls. We've got 3.5 minutes to go. Pulse 2 scoreboard. Featherstone 10, Bradford 0. Both sides on 16 points in the table. And if that result stands, Widnes beating York, whoever wins here this afternoon will be going back in the top 5.
Jinx that. Maybe she said Widnes beating York. York levelled the scores, but no, great again. I've been praising it this entire first half. Bulls' goal line defence has been phenomenal. Fine Featherstone, I'm now looking at the scoreboard and thinking, how are we only 10-0 up? And again, you've got to give full credit to the Bulls. They're getting pinged in their own 20-10 on their own line. And the proving defensive efforts that John will be proud of, forcing errors, keeping Featherstone at bay, and keeping themselves, more importantly, in the game.
Let's not take anything away from this Featherstone performance, but coming up the slope in hot, humid conditions, the Bulls playing exceptionally well. Here goes Wildy. Wildy finds Pickersgill towards his main stand side. He's wrapped up by Davis. 4th tackle gone. Wildy out of dummy half, finds the lily in centre field. He looks and finds Roach. Roach is going to be brought down just inside the Featherstone half. We have 2 minutes remaining here in this first half at Post Office Road. Flanagan attacks the Featherstone markers, boots a ball, kicks clear, picks it up. The referee, though, will say George Flanagan has knocked the ball on, and Featherstone, they will play the ball 10 metres shy of halfway. George Flanagan, incensed with the official, is talking to the touch judge. Sam Hallas comes in and calms George Flanagan down. George not happy with that one, and as we said, he's missed the last 6 games, and he's absolutely eager as a young 18-year-old out there to be back out there in action. And Bradford, as we say, perhaps another flat into the set there. Perhaps the wrong option. Featherstone, 2 tackles gone. They're inside the Bradford half. Dale Ferguson will play the ball to Chisholm, to Holmes. Back on the inside to Render. Render's brought down. 60 seconds remain here. A crucial set of 6 for the Bulls to defend. They want to keep it at 10 points to 0. That'll give them a lot of confidence in this second half. Going down the slope in the searing heat here. Cameron King, 20 metres out, finds Holmes. Holmes misses out Ferguson. To Render, to Davis. Try-saving tackle there from Ethan Ryan. He wraps Davis up, and that's the last tackle for Featherstone. Hardcastle in at dummy half. It goes towards Holmes. Holmes, kick through. That one's been knocked forward, and that will be a tap on the 20 for the Bradford Bulls. Josh Walters just couldn't get that one in, and we're going to have a 7-tackle set to end the first half here at Post Office Road. Lilly taps it on the right boot to Fogging Johnston, the former York and Hunslet man. He's brought down 30 out from his own try line. It now goes from Lilly to Ryan. Ryan's lost the ball in a heavy collision with John Davis and Luke Cooper, and the referee is going to stop the clock with 8 seconds remaining in this first half. And Featherstone, they're going to have one last chance here, Josh.
They will, and Ethan there losing the ball in the tackle, just undone all his good work from 10 to 20 seconds before we shot out lines. He knew he had to hit Davis or he was going to guarantee walking at the corner. He committed, he made the tackle, he prevented the try, and then he's gone 30 metres and unfortunately dropped the ball Davis kind of returning the favour by forcing the error there and hurting himself in the process. Bit of afters, no observation. Featherstone will, 7 seconds left on the clock, play the scrum, maybe get a tackle or two in, and Bradford just need to not do anything stupid in this last 7 seconds of the half and go in at 10-0 down and see what they can do in the second half. Going down the slope.
Sorry about that, Josh. Sharing a microphone here at Post Office Road. Everybody's eyes are transfixed on Jane Chisholm. Chisholm has just had a mini huddle, so Chisholm is going to try something on the final play, which he does. 40 metres out, it's the Hail Mary. This one's going to come down, and that one's been lost by the Bulls. Featherstone have it. Brad Day kicks forward. He's put too much on it. The hooter sounds. And oh my word, another scare from the Bradford Bulls, but somehow Lady Luck shines on him. Brad Day recovered the loose ball from that Chisholm kick and he put too much on it. That one rolled dead, and at half-time here at Post Office Road, it is Featherstone Rovers 10, Bradford Bulls 0 in a low-scoring, intense affair. Josh Chapman, your thoughts and your summation on what you've just witnessed in that opening 40 minutes.
I think, to be honest with you, Mick, the only reason Bradford are still in this game at half-time is through superb goal-line defence. Featherstone have, after pretty even first quarter, an hour, thrown everything, including the kitchen sink, the Bulls' way. They've took advantage of the Bulls' errors, they've forced errors, they've pinned Bradford.
See it coming down this slope now.
What can you tell us quickly about James Green? Is his afternoon ended?
Yeah, it's just picks up a niggle, I think, so he's rested. We couldn't really, he's not 100%, so there's no point really signing there.
And just quickly, Lee, commiserations on a narrow defeat at London yesterday, the under-19s, 28-22, but there was a lot of effort in that performance.
Yeah, we're massive, mate. We went down there with a young squad again, and it was tough. They were a big side, but I tell you what, the conditions were red hot, and the lads dug in after the travel, and I was really pleased with them. They're getting better all the time.
And we're going to see another homegrown player make his debut if he comes on in the second half, Alex Stevenson.
Yeah, hopefully the other one there. Let's get him on. Let's get another in there as well, Mick.
Thank you very much for joining us, Lee BT. Bradford are the first side to emerge at the start of the second half, trailing by 10 points to 0 here. Just to recap, we've been speaking to John Keir at half-time. He says it's nothing too serious regarding Ross Peltier. What happened was, and I don't want people, if you're eating your Sunday dinner, turn the volume down. Ross has arrived with a team coach and he has just been vomiting profusely. So he has gone to see the local care direct GP at the hospital. So nothing too serious for Ross Peltier, thank the Lord. And Bradford in with a shout in this one. Lily about to get us back underway for the start of the second half on Pulse 2, and Featherstone will have first use of the ball and they will be coming up the slope. And Joshua, just quickly looking at the completion rates for both sides with 7 errors, both sides completing at around about 68 to 70%.
Yeah, and in the usual case, a percentage around that margin loses you a game of rugby league. But you know, I think the errors, though, I think most of the Bulls' errors have been forced, whereas most of the Fev errors have just been through their keenness and fastness to play the game. Like we've talked about the 2 tries they bombed. You know, the Chisholm kick there, what got spilled. You know, these are errors Featherstone are causing themselves, trying to keep the Bulls on the back foot, keep the game going at their pace, and at the same time they've been forcing errors from the Bulls. So, you know, I think Featherstone in the first half, especially in those last 20 minutes, dictated how this game's going. And I know that John would have probably had harsh words at half time with them, and the Bulls will now going down the slope, might come out firing in this second 40.
Well, Featherstone, a good start to this second half, no errors, and the kick from Chisholm dealt with by Defogging Johnston on this main stand side. Flanagan out a dummy half now to Staunton. Staunton's brought down on the second tackle, 10 shy of halfway. Bradford up to their own 40-metre line. The trail by 10 points to 0 if you're just joining us on Pulse 2 after Cameron King and Dane Chisholm scored tries in the first half. Lily now to Farrell. Farrell to Minchella. Referee Gareth Hewitt is going to give the Bradford Bulls their first penalty in the second half because Jordan Lilly was taken out off the ball, and that now is going to see the Bulls Fine touch on this main stand side, and they're going to have a full set of 6 deep inside that Featherstone half. We did speak to Ryan Carr, the Featherstone head coach, on the touchline before the game, and he said, in his professional opinion, the slope is worth 8 to 10 points, maybe even more in the hot humidity of the Post Office Road Colden here this afternoon. Let's see what happens here. Tackle number 1 is Connor Farrell. Flanagan to Roach. Roach, the former Huddersfield, Headingley Hawks, Leeds Rhinos man, brought down just outside the Featherstone 20-metre line. Lilly to Wilde, to Staunton. Staunton back to Wilde. Wilde looks for an opening, fires it to Hallis. Hallis down the middle, head down, takes on Ferguson and Makatoa. And he's 5 metres out from that Featherstone line. Here goes Flanagan. George Flanagan's underneath the post. The Bulls have got a try. Oh no, they haven't. Gareth Ewer looks to the touch judge. He's disallowed for crossing. That is another harsh call against the Bulls.
I agree, Mick. I think that was a harsh one. You know, George has come flying out at dummy half. The man who's been tackled before George is still stood in the position on the play the ball mark, and for some reason the referees ruled that he's been an obstruction, which I find baffling, especially when he's just played the ball.
Well, we're not one to bag the officials. They've got a very difficult job. They only have one view of it from up here on the gantry where we're calling the game from this afternoon. That looked very harsh against George Flanagan, and he's having a couple of words now with Gareth Ewer. As Featherstone, they've come up with their 8th error in this half. They've knocked the ball on 20 metres out from their own try line, so perhaps that is a bit of fortuitous luck. Perhaps that's the planets aligning and everything being restored to parity. Who knows? But Bradford, they've had 2 tries disallowed now. Ethan Ryan in the first half, George Flanagan in the second half. Let's see what happens here from the scrum. Bradford trailing 10-0, coming down the slope here in the second half. We've had 42 minutes gone in this game. Flanagan in at dummy half as Hallis plays the ball. It goes to Lilly. Lilly through the gap, taking the line on. Jordan Lilly brought down there by Luke Cooper and Brad Day. 5 metres out, goes to Flanagan, back to Hallis. Hallis caught on the shoulder, pushed back in the field of play. Flanagan's in there at dummy half. They go deep, out wide to Wilde. Wilde to Pickersgill. Pickersgill out wide, and a chance there for Ross Oakes. Last tackle on top of the Featherstone line. It goes to Wilde. Wilde perfectly weighted. Flanagan nearly got the ball off the floor and was over for a try, but Luke Cooper put his body on the line. He smothered on that ball, and it remains 10 points to 0. And now Featherstone are going to move the ball from deep over on that far stand side with Josh Hardcastle, the former Featherstone Lions junior, come through the Wakefield Trinity Academy system. 3rd tackle gone now is Connor Carey. 5 tries for Featherstone this season, and the former Queensland junior has made some valuable metres as Featherstone coming up the slope now with Josh Hardcastle. 2 tackles remaining. They go down the middle with Dale Ferguson. Ferguson punches a huge hole past Colton Roach and Connor Farrell, and they are 40 metres out from the Bradford line in centre field. It's going to go to Chisholm. Chisholm once again perfectly weighted. That comes down in the sunshine, taken by Brandon Pickersgill, and Brandon Pickersgill will immediately be brought down in a 2-man tackle there by Luke Cooper and Brad Day. Pickersgill gets up a little bit gingerly. Just watching Pickersgill there. I think it's just some of the physicality of the tackle. We heard from Lee Beattie at half-time. James Green will not be returning, so the Bulls, they're going to have to do it tough in this second half with just Flanagan, Roach and Stevenson, who has yet to come on for his debut on that bench. Here goes Flanagan. Flanagan up and over halfway for the Bradford Bulls on the 4th tackle. Lilly looking for willing runners, finds Roach. Roach brought down in a 3-man tackle. Last tackle now for the Bulls. 35 metres out centre field. Woodin at dummy half to Wilde. Wilde, it's an invitation for Ryan. Ethan Ryan! The Bulls are going to score! That is absolutely sensational from the Bradford Bulls. There was nobody at home, and Ethan Ryan, on his 18th appearance of the season, he's got his 13th try. And Ethan Ryan, he is one of only 2 ever presence for the Bradford Bulls. He's played every minute, every second of this season, and the Bulls, they've hit first in this second half. They trail 10 points to 4.
Got to give it to Ethan there, a bit of speed, wasn't there? No, the Wildy picked up the gap on the wing, he exploited it. Ethan turned on the burners, he got there, he got the ball, he scored. A sensational effort from Ethan, both speed to get to the ball, to catch it and touchdown, and that is just what the Bulls needed after the first half.
The inquest starts in earnest behind the Featherstone Rovers post. That was from 40 metres out. Matty Wildy looked up, he realised that Josh Hardcastle, Luke Briscoe, they're all out of position. And Ethan Ryan, like a thief in the night, just ran down that far stand touchline, took the ball from the air, and there was nobody there. And now Elliot Minchella, a chance to narrow the gap further still. Pulse 2 kick predictor, 55% from that far stand touchline. The Featherstone supporters are doing their best to put him off, and they've succeeded. That one goes horribly wide to the left-hand side of the post, but the Bulls, they have got a bit of self-belief and confidence now. They're backing this one firmly. You know they had to score straight after half-time, Josh. Didn't quite expect something quite as spectacular as that, but we have had 48 minutes gone here at Post Office Road, 32 minutes remain on Pulse 2, and the Bulls only trail by 6.
Yeah, I think the Featherstone inquest we were talking about then behind the stick started with the way Dane Chisholm reacted, his arms in the air, questioning the position of his winger and centre on that far side. The moment Willie's kick went up, Dane knows what this Bulls do, he knows what Ethan's all about. He's done that for Ethan enough times. So to turn around, see Ethan full pelt, Luke and Josh Hardcastle out of position like that can be only frustrating for Featherstone, but that's exactly what the Bulls needed. They've been on the back foot most of this game, which needed something to get onto the scoreboard and back into the game, and we've got a game of rugby league on again on our hands.
Ethan Ryan is not scored in the last 4 outings for the Bulls, but he'll remember that one, his 13th try of the season. On the restart here, Bradford on the halfway line, Flanagan now to Lilly, Lilly to Farrell, Farrell fronts up, can't get past 4 Featherstone Rovers defenders, and that is going to be the last tackle for John Keir's side. The trail 10 points to 4, they're firmly in the arm wrestle. They've brought a lot of energy to this second half performance thus far. Lilly looking for Ryan again, Ryan, can he pinch it? He's got one-on-one with Connor Carey. Connor Carey's got into touch, and it's a scrum, head and feet to the Bradford Bulls here, and here come the Bulls, and John Keir's side, they've got all the ascendancy and momentum at the start of this second half, and it's the Matty Wildy, Jordan Lilly halfback show.
Exactly, we talked about this in the first half, Mick. If your halfback pairing gets clicks, like we're talking about Holmes and Chisholm Featherstone, it gets the rest of the team around the field. That's exactly what's happening in the second half. Lilly switched on, Wildy switched on. They're controlling play, they're dominating the ball, and the rest of the Bulls team's feeding off the back of that. And Featherstone, I don't think they know what's hitting them down this slope in the second half.
Well, they've moved Luke Briscoe over from that far side on this main side, and they've put Connor Carey there, and he's come up with an error. Featherstone, 9 errors now in this match. From the base of the scrum, Connor Farrell nearly loses the ball on contact from James Lockwood and John Davis. He's brought down 20 metres out in front of the post. The sun blazing down here on Post Office Road as Allers goes on an attacking run. Bradford looking for their second points and second score. Goes to Wood. Wood to Roach, and Roach is brought down 2 metres shy of that Featherstone Rovers try line. Flanagan will try and show and go. He's over the line, he's Flanagan, but he's held up. Will go back to the 10. The Bulls will regroup and recharge, and Flanagan now just getting entangled with the Featherstone Rovers defenders behind the goal line. Referee Gareth Fewer telling Featherstone back on the line. Whistle to lips. Here we go. It goes to Lilly. Lilly to Pickersgill. Pickersgill looking lively. Pickersgill towards the line. He's brought down on the last tackle. On his back. Bradford 4, Featherstone 10. Lilly to Wildy. Wildy to Staunton. Staunton twisted and turning. Staunton. Heroic goal line defence from Featherstone. And the Pulse 2 scoreboard with 50 minutes gone here says Featherstone 10, Bradford 4.
Exactly, mate. Can defend at the end of the day. You can score as many points as you want. Defence wins games. You can't defend, you're going to concede, you're going to lose. And after the heroic goal line display efforts of the Bulls in that. He's thinking Conor Curry spilled that myself then. But Bradford are their heroic defensive display the first half. It's Featherstone's turn to take a bit of pressure, see what they can handle. And the Bulls are well and truly throwing them in this second half.
Featherstone moving the ball over on that far stand side. A bit of a half break here from Josh Hardcastle, looking for support. Render was on the inside, and Featherstone are up to the halfway line on the 4th tackle. Appealing for a penalty, none forthcoming. Just going to run it in hard down that middle channel. Lilly, Minchella, Roach, all going for the legs here. Great defence from the Bradford Bulls. Cameron King finds the support from Chisholm. Chisholm loses his footing, passes off the floor on one knee to Brad Day, and that now will be the last tackle for Featherstone. 25 metres out from that Bradford try line. Josh Walters in at dummy half to Chisholm. Chisholm to Holmes. Holmes looking to put Ethan Ryan under pressure. Ethan Ryan! He was taken out in the air, was it? The Bull supporters, they're appealing for a penalty. They're not going to have one awarded, and now they will come from deep via Ross Oakes, who takes the second tackle just shy of the 20-metre line. Here goes Defogging Johnston. Defogging Johnston trying to catch those A and B Featherstone marker defenders short. Up to the Bradford 30-metre line. 20 shy of halfway, and Brandon Pickersgill. The pressure was off. He's knocked the ball on at dummy half. Bradford have an 8th error in this match, and we have just hit the 53rd minute here at Post Office Road. And it remains Featherstone 10, Bradford 4. A real... We talked to John Keir and Ryan Carr about it being a real playoff 4-pointer. Well, the intensity is there.
It is, and it reminds me of the game on the final regular season game. Was it 2016 to get into that top 4? That's what this reminded me of, the intensity, the will to win, the desire to defend and tackle you and make sure your own line is protected. And really, I don't think the Bulls needed that. You know, they've got on the front foot. They had Featherstone wobbling a little bit, and now they've coughed up cheap possession and given Featherstone a chance to reopen that lead they had.
Featherstone looking dangerous here with John Davis. Davis is brought down in front of the post, and that will be a penalty to Featherstone, their 6th of the afternoon, and the kicking tee comes on, and Ryan Carr can't get that kicking tee on enough, and Chisholm will point to the post, and we're about potentially to see Featherstone Rovers open up an 8-point gap between themselves and Bradford. As we said, we've had 14 minutes gone at the start of this second half. Bradford on the scoreboard through Ethan Ryan. His 13th try of the season. 2 try assists last week for Defogging Johnston and Dalton Grant. This is 18th appearance of the season. Just one of 2 ever presents. The other Steve Crossley. 86 appearances for the Bulls, 82 tries. Dane Chisholm, Pulse 2 kick predictor, 47%. He's got the sun in his face. But this one should go straight between the posts. And Dame Chisholm would love nothing more than to send this one between the posts in front of the Bradford fans to our left. Chisholm does just that. And the Pulse 2 scoreboard says Featherstone Rovers 12, Bradford Bulls 4. We're in the 54th minute here at Post Office Road. Points clearly at a premium this afternoon, and that one could be the difference come the end. The Bulls will hope not. They will regroup on the halfway line, and Jordan Lilly is calling for the ball. Jordan Lilly not happy there with Dane Chisholm. Something's clearly been said. He gave Dane Chisholm the stare, and we're back underway. Lilly down into the Featherstone Rovers in goal area. They're going to return the ball from Jack Omenroyd, who's just come on. Fresh legs for Ryan Carr and Featherstone. Now it goes down the middle with Luke Cooper. He's brought down just outside his own 20-metre line. Once again, the Bulls hunting in 2s and 3s. Alice, Kirk and Farrell on that occasion. King in at dummy half. Gives it there to Maskell. Quick play the ball. King to Omenroyd again. Omenroyd's second carry this afternoon, and he's brought down just inside the Bradford half. They lead by 12 points to 4. The Bulls have to chase the game. They've got the scoreboard and clock against them as we approach the hour mark here. Where has the time gone? This one has just flown by. Last tackle, says Gareth Ewer. Holmes, just inside the Bulls' half. Another difficult kick. There's a bit of a mid-air collision between Pickersgill and Ryan. Someone should have called for that one. And Ethan Ryan now will take the tackle 20 metres out from his own try line. Fogging Johnston at dummy half. Just looking at the body language of the players. They've gone through a lot of work. It's been a Herculean effort in defence. And we're about to see Alex Stevenson come on. He'll be wearing Dalton Grant's number 22. And Stevenson, he's going to be about to become the 52nd player that has come through the academy since 2015. We're going to name them all throughout the week as we build up to that Challenge Cup game at Odsall against Halifax. Bradford are on the halfway line. Flanagan will play the ball. It'll go to Lilly. Lilly looks to split Render and Carey. Connor Carey picks it up 20 metres out from his own line. Can't get past Lilly and Hallas, and the two Stanley juniors wrap Carey up 18 out from his own try line. And Alex Stevenson, he is going to go in at dummy half because George Flanagan has been interchanged off the field there by George Flanagan. And Alex Stevenson certainly hungry out there in defence for the Bradford Bulls. King out of dummy half to Hardcastle. Hardcastle's away. Hardcastle brought down by Wilde. Wilde lets King play the ball in at dummy half. It goes to Holmes. Out wide to John Davis. Davis is in. Davis is in for Featherstone Rovers. And the Bulls, the defence, it's been watertight for 60 minutes. But on the hour, Featherstone Rovers have broken the Bulls' resolve. They have a third try of the afternoon. And it is John Davis rolling back the years here. 16 points plays for.
Yeah, that all came off the hard work of Josh Hardcastle there. Our dummy half, breaking the Bulls' line. But I think what Hardcastle was really clever at then, when Alex Stevenson came from Flanagan, the Bulls were moving about, position-wise. Alex Stevenson went to the far side to the wing. Ethan has come across to play right centre. Mincello's dropped in at hooker to cover for Flanagan. And while that reshape and reorganisation was taking place in the Bulls' defensive line, Hardcastle knew what was going on in front of him. He exploited it. It worked. And you've got to give credit to Davis as well. Clever little side step out of the dummy half himself, through the gap to the line, despite the best efforts of Fogging Johnston, who's come across Alex Stevenson there. And the Bulls really now, with 20 minutes to go, got it all to do.
It was that break, Josh, from Josh Hardcastle, that had the Bulls scrambling back in field. And as you rightly said, we've just seen Flanagan go off the field. Stevenson's come on, and John Keir, in the process of changing the defensive structure, Featherstone have gone through the gap, through the hole, and John Davis, his third try of the season. And the Pulse 2 kick predictor here for Dane Chisholm says 72%. Featherstone Rovers supporters enjoying themselves here this afternoon in the bank holiday sunshine. 16 points to 4. Big kick. This to put Featherstone 3 clear scores ahead of the Bulls. We have an hour gone. 20 minutes remain. So Chisholm with the right boot. That one has gone across the face of the post, and that one was just 10 metres to the right-hand side of the upright, and that is going to give the Bulls a little bit of hope here. It's Mick Gledell, Josh Chapman on Pulse 2, and it is Featherstone 16, Bradford 4.
Yeah, that's exactly going to give the Bulls a bit of hope, It's still now 12 points, a 2-score game. Chisholm kicks out, it's a 3-score game. Featherstone have a bit of breathing space. And the Bulls, with 20 minutes left on the clock, are still in this game now. 2 points instead of 3. Going for the short kick-off here. Davis has taken it. I don't think anyone read that, but Jordan Lilly himself. And I'm all worrying. James Green's just re-emerged with his knee in a brace.
I was just looking at the body language there of the Bradford Bulls players. Fogging Johnston and Stevenson. Conor Farrell all on this main stand side. They're all saying to Jordan Lilly, what was that? That wasn't part of the script. No one chased that short kick, and now Featherstone find themselves 30 metres out from that Bradford line, where almost certainly a fourth try of the afternoon would probably seal the Bulls' fate. Once again at Post Office Road. Here goes Chisholm. Chisholm today. Day's brought down 20 metres out from that Bradford line. King in at dummy half. Gives it there to Luke Cooper, the former Batley man. He's brought down on the last tackle. Chisholm's in position. It's going to go to Holmes. Holmes on that right-hand edge. Back on the inside. Kick through. And that's a great defensive read from Pickersgill. Conor Carey put the grubber kick in behind the Bulls line, and Pickersgill dived on the ball. And now Bradford, they're going to look to put some pressure on this Featherstone Rovers defence as Alex Stevenson carries the ball up to the Bradford 20-metre line. The Bulls down by 12. They've got to score next, you feel. Here goes Wildy over on that left-hand edge, sucking that Featherstone Rovers defence. It could open up in the middle here. Minchella now back in the halves. It goes to Crossley. That's the last tackle, says referee Gareth Ewer. They're 15 shy of halfway. It goes to Minchella. Minchella to Lilly. Lilly looks up, looks for the 40-20. Decides to pierce the winger and fullback. And that one will bounce kindly for Jack Render. And Render now will be... Oh, I tell you what, Jack Render, beautiful ball there, and Featherstone are going to score a sensational try. It's Luke Briscoe. You'll want to watch that one back on the highlights. The Bulls' defence cut to ribbons, and it's 20 points to 4. 19 minutes to go in this one, and Jordan Lilly's kick there. It split Briscoe and Render. Render picked it up 20 metres out from his own line. He bamboozled Defugging Johnson and Ethan Ryan. He found the inside support of Luke Briscoe, and Luke Briscoe has his 7th try of the season. I think, Josh, even from a Bradford point of view, you've got to admire great play, and that was a super try.
Exactly, that's exactly what I want to make. It was superb play. Jack Render just to slow himself down when he was under pressure there. It could very easily, even the winger, him and Briscoe communicated. Render picked the ball up slowly, allowed Briscoe to go around the back of him, exploited the defensive line gap of the Bulls' kick chase. Briscoe went through round 1, round 2, round 3. Alex Stevenson was left in no man's land here. Around Alex, George Flanagan was then left in a 3-on-1 situation. Unfortunately for George, it was either tackle Luke and let him get the offload away and concede, or let Luke, he committed. He knew either way if they were going to score, he committed. Luke Briscoe stepped round him. Marty Wildy, to be fair, Marty Wildy, 50 metres he covered trying to catch Briscoe, fell just short. All from smart play by Render to exploit the gap. Superb solo effort from Briscoe, and I'm afraid for me now with 16 minutes to go at 22-4 once this conversion goes over. I think that's all she's wrote this afternoon for Bradford.
Pulse 2 kick predictor says 97%. Dane Chisholm from in front of the post. And Featherstone Rovers, they've gone back to back in quick succession. Chisholm from in front. Oh my word, I do not believe what I have just seen. Chisholm has hit the left hand upright from 10 metres out, and that remains 20 points to 4. 2 from 3 attempts. The Pulse 2 kick predictor, horribly wrong, 97%. But it's no laughing matter for the Bulls players or the Bulls supporters. Lilly, they need the ball back, they need points quickly. Key has instructed Lilly to go long and deep. They need a force and error from Featherstone, or at the very least 5 and out and force the kick from a shallow position. As we said at the start of this second half, they certainly brought the energy. They completed their first 5 sets. They nearly had a second try to complement that try from Ethan Ryan from Matty Staunton, and on such fine margins, games are won and lost. Let's not forget the first half, Ethan Ryan had a try disallowed. Second half, so too did George Flanagan. If those are given, the complexion and the game changes. But here we go. It's not about those decisions, it's about the Bulls' inability to defend. As King to Cooper. On the halfway line with Holmes. Holmes over on that far stand side to Conor Carey. Carey's away. They're looking to go back to back here, Featherstone. Ethan Ryan and Pickersgill had to come in. Last tackle. Holmes, 15 metres out to Chisholm. Chisholm through a gap. Dane Chisholm dancing his way to the line. And Dane Chisholm is going to leave Bradford bodies on the floor. And Dane Chisholm running the show now. 24 points to 4. 15 minutes to go here at Post Office Road. And this is going to be a crushing defeat for John Keir and the Bradford Bulls. Dane Chisholm leaving 4 Bradford players, including Brandon Pickersgill, on the floor.
Exactly, mate. Superb solo effort from Chisholm, that. But we spent the majority of this game talking about what a superb defensive display on their own line the Bulls have put in. And in this last 5 minutes, they've completely fallen to bits. There's men who are doing super, like Ethan Ryan, for example. In the last 10 minutes, he's gone left wing, hooker, right centre. There's no cohesion, no defensive organisation. Featherstone are taking full advantage. And unfortunately for Bradford, it's turned into a bit of a drubbing now.
Pulse 2 kick predictor once again, 97%. Chisholm's right in front. 20 points the gap. Some of the Bradford supporters are heading for the exits. They've seen enough. And Featherstone, wow. 14 unanswered points. A try from John Davis, Luke Briscoe, and now Dane Chisholm. Chisholm from in front. Ironic cheers from the Featherstone Rovers faithful. He goes out to free from 6 and 26 points to 4 on the Pulse 2 scoreboard. Elsewhere in the Betfred Championship, Barrow 48, Rochdale 10, it's Batley 22, Halifax 12, it's Swinton 10, Dewsbury 16, and it's Widnes 12, York 16 in a close one at Norton Park. If that Halifax result stands, both Bradford and Halifax are going into that Coral Challenge Cup quarter-final next Sunday at Odsal Stadium, down on a bit of form. Here we go then, back on the restart. Lily instructed once again not to go for that short restart. Bradford have to score next. I personally think the game's gone, 30 minutes remain, but the Bulls, though, they'll be looking to put a bit of respectability on the score, perhaps score a couple of consolations. But as we said, Post Office Road has been nicknamed the graveyard. Josh Walters has lost the ball. Referee Gary Fewer gives him the benefit of the doubt, says the tackle was completed. He'll play the ball 30 metres out, and it goes from King to Hardcastle. Hardcastle wins a penalty. Oh no, he doesn't. Hardcastle's knocked the ball on 10 metres shy of halfway. A 10-ferrer from Featherstone, and a chance now for Bradford 40 metres out. We've got 13 minutes remaining in this one at Post Office Road. As we said, it's been that penalty from Chisholm and those tries from Davis Briscoe and Chisholm himself the difference. 16 unanswered points in just 12 minutes have turned this game on its head. So Bradford Bulls then. Hallis to Lilly. Lilly to Farrell. Farrell's going to be brought down 25 metres out. He's lost the ball, Farrell. Referee says knock on. That is never a knock on. Oh my word. 2 in the tackle, the ball's come out, and the referee will say knock on against Connor Farrell. Steve Crossley, Elliot Minchella talking to the referee. We don't like to bag the officials, and I won't, Josh, but that is a decision that has gone against the Bulls, and I don't think it's going to matter come the full-time score, but you're down on luck when someone's stealing the ball right in front of the touch judge and it's been given as a knock-on.
You are, and I think the Connor Farrell's argument with the touch judge following the decisions, all you need to know about that one.
Josh Walters then, he'll be brought down on tackle number 1 from the scrum. It's still Batley 22, Halifax 12, so Bradford, Halifax, Lee, Sheffield, all dropping points this weekend in that race for that top 5 finish. And potentially there could be a Widnes comeback on. It's still 16-12 to York there. Chisholm once again to Walters now. Walters can't get past Ryan and Lilly. Farrell comes in as the third man and he's brought down on his back 30 metres out from that Bradford try line. Featherstone 26, Bradford 4. 11 minutes to go here. Lockwood to King. King twists and turns, goes past Crossley, can't get past Kirk, and they're on the last tackle now. Goes to Chisholm. Chisholm Little chip over the top, taken by Johnston. Johnston's away, and Johnston's away to the try line, but Gareth Ewer is going to give Featherstone Rovers a penalty in front of the post because Matty Wilde has been adjudged to have obstructed one of the Featherstone defenders, and Featherstone are going to take the 2 points on offer. That will run a bit of time off the clock, and I tell you what, Josh, that is another harsh decision.
It is, you know, when fucking Johnston's shooting from the wing and he's going across the line. Unfortunately, some men will get out of the way, some men won't. Unfortunately, Matty Wilde was just to have not. Sam Ellis is now having words with Gareth Ewer, and Chisholm's going to take the 2. But yeah, you know, end of the day, you get good decisions, you get bad decisions. It's about how you handle them. And Bradford, unfortunately, have not handled them well this afternoon.
Well, Sam Hallis wants to be careful. He doesn't want to cross the line. He's still having a word with Gareth Ewer. Gareth Ewer telling him to get back. He doesn't want to talk. And now Gareth Ewer telling the Bradford defenders to go back towards the goal line and give Dane Chisholm 10 metres clearance for this penalty conversion attempt. Pulse 2 kick predictor once again is going to say that Chisholm will send this one over, 97%, right in front of the post. This to add another 2 points on to Featherstone's total. Chisholm from in front. The cheers and the music in the background will tell you it is now Featherstone 28, Bradford 4, and we have 9 minutes remaining here at Featherstone, and perhaps now is the time for Lily to perhaps go for a short 10-metre restart.
It is, but also at the same time, the Bradford want to risk losing possession and conceding. I also noticed, as though going back to the restart there, Sam Hallis is continuing his conversation with Mr. Ewer, and he's got to be very careful he don't talk himself into the sin bin. Well, we'll end his afternoon now with less than 10 minutes on the clock.
Well, we don't have the benefit of any replay monitors, neither does Gareth Ewer, but worth mentioning, Gareth Ewer was the official when Elliot Minchella's last grass try in that 25-20 away defeat at Widnes. He was the same referee who decided to give the penalty then against the Bulls. That cost them so dearly. A lot of talking points in that one, a lot of talking points in this one, but let's not forget it isn't the referee's decisions that have cost the Bulls this afternoon. It is their inability to defend when it matters most. Here come Featherstone up to the halfway line. Brad Day out of dummy half. He's going to be brought down there by Crossley and Minchella in a 2-man tackle. Featherstone, 4th tackle gone, 30 metres out. It's going to go to King to Cooper down the middle. He's brought down on the last tackle, 20 metres out centre field. They're looking for Chisholm again. Chisholm though decides to give it there to Holmes. Holmes, perfectly weighted kick out wide, looking for Conor Carey. It's as easy as that for Featherstone, and they have another try this afternoon. They have now crossed the Bradford line 5 times, and it is 20, make that 32 points to 4.
Alex Stevenson, the Paul, that's having a bit of a debut to forget, isn't he? You know, since he's come on, Featherstone has scored 4 tries. He's had a part to play in 3 of in the ones that he's conceded. And unfortunately there, for someone of Alex's height at least, should at least be challenging there. There were no challenge, and Conor Carey probably will not score an easier try for kick in his career.
19-year-old Alex Stevenson, sun in his face in that far stand corner. Holmes, perfectly weighted. That one went right up into the sky. And Conor Carey, he latched onto that like a magnet. And we're going to see Colin Roach come on. John Kay, 7th interchange. They have done it tough, the Bulls, this afternoon. There's a lot of mitigating factors. And as we say, Jake Webster, Rowan Mills, Dalton Grant, Ross Peltier, all late withdrawalees. They travelled on the team, most did Dalton Grant and Ross Peltier. Thankfully nothing serious from Ross Peltier, just a virus illness, vomiting. Dane Chisholm then, Pulse 2 kick predictor, 32%, not that it matters. Over on the fast-hand side, Chisholm between the posts. And that is Featherstone Rovers 34, Bradford Bulls 4 here. And Post Office Road, it's another thrashing the Bulls have suffered at the Graveyard. 2016 was uncomfortable viewing. Rowan Smith's Bulls, they lost 20 points to 0 Kyle Briggs with a try at 5 from 5. And then on Bradford's last visit here back in 2017, under Jeff Tuvey, it was Featherstone 44, Bradford 18. The Bulls were trailing 38-0 at half-time on that occasion. They won the second half 18-6 with a brace of tries from Ross Oakes and Amari Caro, but the damage was done. Not a happy hunting ground from the Bulls. We have less than 6 minutes remaining, and you've got to suspect Featherstone, if they're going for a 7th try, Conor Carey, not the 5th, it was the 6th try the Bulls have conceded this afternoon, then certainly this one disastrously running away from them. As we say, the Featherstone try scorers: King, a brace to Chisholm, Davis, Briscoe, and now Carey. On the restart, they're up to halfway. Lockwood to Chisholm. Chisholm dummies the ball. Chisholm back on the inside to Render. Render's brought down by Roach. The danger's not over. King straight out of dummy half. There's no one there at home for the Bulls. And Luke Cooper's going to be brought down 5 metres out in front of the post. King to Chisholm. Perfectly weighted grubber. And there's a try to Featherstone. It's the 7th try of the afternoon. And this is a horror show. It's a horror show. Josh Walters, he latches onto the Dane Chisholm grubber kick. And Dane Chisholm, he's giving Andrew Chalmers and John Keir a stark reminder of his ability here at Post Office Road. 42 points to 4.
I think you described it best there. It really is not in a second half show, a last 20-minute horror show. Ever since the defensive line and the structure was changed after George Flanagan had to leave the field after his first spell, the Bulls really have fell apart, and Featherstone are playing with confidence and freedom. And when you're on the front foot as much as Featherstone are, and you are playing with such confidence and freedom, you're just going to continue rolling your opponents down the field. You are going to do this, and when Bulls are having to do as much defending as they are now, it will tire you out, and when you tire, you make sloppy errors, you shut off, and that is what's happening. And Featherstone are having an afternoon to remember, and rightly so, because with the exception of the first 20 minutes of the first half, or the first 5 of the second, they have been a class above Bulls this afternoon.
Pulse 2 kick predictor, 81%. Chisholm, 5 from 8 attempts. This is 9th attempt. This to put 40 points on the scoreboard for Featherstone. And Featherstone, they will move inside the top 5 this evening. Bradford will still be in 7th. But Featherstone, they'll have 18 points, 2 points ahead of the Bulls. Chisholm then, with a right boot, he's pushed it onto that left-hand upright once again. And the scoreboard remains 38 points to 4. If Chisholm had been kicking, the Featherstone Rovers would be 2 points short of 50. As it remains, Pulse 2 scoreboard with 3 minutes remaining here at Post Office Road. It is Featherstone Rovers 38, Bradford Bulls 4. Just quickly, Josh, give us 4 Bradford players to put out on the man of the match poll.
Sorry, I was a bit distracted there by what's going on the other side of the ground with the supporters and the stewards. Oh, that's an error the Bulls needed. In terms of man of the match, well,
I tell you what, we'll let the listeners just throw some names out. Bradford, via the restart of Jordan Lilley, they have found touch 20 metres out from the Featherstone line. It's also little, also late. 2.5 minutes remaining here. Don't forget we're on air till 5 o'clock, and we'll try and dissect what has happened in this match as it goes from Wildy. Wildy over on that left-hand edge now to Oakes. As we said, last time Bradford were defeated here, they were a couple of tries in that second half comeback. Crossley now down the middle. 3rd tackle gone. 5 away from that Featherstone Rovers try line. Ryan Carr, he'll be looking to see this as a test of their defensive resilience. Flanagan out of dummy half, trying to pinch one. He's held up over the line again, although the ball's gone backwards, and it's picked up there by Matty Staunton. Bradford a chance to go in. Here we go, Ross Oakes. Ross Oakes in front of the post. It goes to Lilley. Lilley to Farrell. Farrell kicks ahead for Johnston. And Featherstone Rovers. Johnston's knocked the ball on in the act of scoring. And Featherstone will have a 20-metre restart. 2 minutes remain. Pulse 2 scoreboard. Featherstone 38, Bradford 4.
Yeah, again, great defence from Dane Chisholm there to deny fucking Johnson and force the error. Going back to man of the match, I'd probably, ironically, Dane Chisholm's just got the first man of the match. For me, for the Bulls, probably I'd give Ross Stokes an honourable mention. I think Ross has had a good afternoon. I think Sam Allison has been pretty consistent, and I've also been impressed with the performance of George Flanagan when he's been on the field from the interchanges bench as well.
Featherstone Rovers just playing down the clock, coming back up the slope here. As we say, the second half horror show for the Bulls. They've conceded 5 tries and 28 points. They've not been in the contest really until that second try of the second half from Luke Briscoe after that try from John Davis. Chisholm on the last tackle, playing the percentages, drills that one past Brandon Pickersgill and Defogging Johnston, and with 30 seconds remaining, it will be a scrum, head and feed to the Bradford Bulls. Don't forget you can get in touch with us on Twitter, Facebook, on Bradford Bulls Live, on at Pulse2MDL, that's Pulse2MDL, and you can also tweet me at the Game Caller. You know, the big question is going to be asking John Keir, how does he turn this around for next week's game against Halifax? A lot riding on that one. It's a Challenge Cup quarter-final, the first time that the Bulls have been in a quarter-final. Although Flanagan, he's passed the ball from the scrum, and Dane Chisholm is going to get a hat-trick. It's now more than a horror show. Someone bury the casket. It's 42 points to 4. I can't believe what I'm seeing. George Flanagan, with seconds remaining in the match, he thought about the pass to Ethan Ryan on this main stand side. The Bulls have hit that big red self-destruct button here. It's uncomfortable viewing, uncomfortable listening. Credit to Featherstone Rovers. They're putting the Bulls to the sword with some conviction and then some this afternoon. And I'm speechless, Josh.
I cannot believe what I've just witnessed, Mick. The full-time hoot has sounded. You're 38-4 down. And George Flanagan's throwing a pass to Ethan Ryan as if there's a try in it. And if Ethan goes to the left of the field, he scores. It's stupid. It's silly from George. Especially in the last minute. When you're getting a spanking, there's no need to do something quick, stupid, silly like that. Dane Chisholm read it beautifully, intercepted the pass, scored. But that one's all through. Bulls, for some reason, just not thinking logically when it mattered the most.
Dane Chisholm then from this main stand touchline. A small band of Bradford supporters in this 3,000 crowd here at Post Office Road. They're still cheering their side on behind the post where Dane Chisholm will attempt this conversion. Pulse 2 kick predictor says 23%. Chisholm, final act of this game. That one goes across the face of the post. Full time here then at Post Office Road.